What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Bobby G, back with another vid. Before we head into this one, hit the thumbs up for your boy, subscribe to my channel, and drop down in the comments and recommend something to watch. But yeah, let's get straight into this. Today we got Kevin Durant. He just did a podcast a couple days ago with Boardroom, so we live right now on Kick. So say what's up to the chat, YouTube. Them boys lost today, I ain't gonna lie. They just lost to the Mavericks, so tough L. It is what it is, though.
It was devastating. It was totally devastating to the point where it's just flat out tears as soon as they said that. No one wanted to say shit. He just couldn't say nothing, and I was just like, "Fuck, this is it." What's up, yo?
The Boardroom cover story, 35 at 35.
Thanks for having me on the cover, man. It's only right.
Of course it's only right. And it's also been 10 months since you have appeared on the Boardroom platform, your platform, our platform. So we here.
It doesn't seem that long, man. I feel like we've just been non-stop, though, for the last few years. I look up and 10 months has passed. And no perfect timing but to do it now for the cover.
How do you feel when you see what we...
That boy KD high as hell.
I just get so excited about, like you said, the future. It's hard sometimes to stay in the present when you building something like this, because you see how fast it's grown and you see where it can go. It has our touch on it all the way through, our impact, our personality through everything. So it's been...
Yo, what KD got on the feet right now? Those look like the fives, but I don't think he's the type to rock fives like that.
Fun seeing the reception, seeing how many people really buy into what we like to do, seeing how we built this and curated this to fit our personality over time. Like you said, it's our baby, man. It's feeling like that. So in that 10 months, though, did you feel the need to have me on, or did you just had your head down and kept working?
We have a good kind of push and pull where, like, there's times where I know the space you need, and then I know when you want to, like, impact.
Bro, those look like J number fives. I ain't gonna lie. Those look like the fives, bro.
And then you know when I really need you to, and I think that
It's long leg ass, bro.
we don't stop communicating clearly, right?
Yeah.
But I also just keep building and feel like it's a challenge. Like, I want to impress you and show you, because part of the way I got here was your belief in me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I had done a lot of shit in my career, but it wasn't until you really gave me that, like, no, go, bro. And everybody needs that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And around that time, I mean, a lot was happening with us, and we were at different points in our careers, but it was almost like a fork in the road for both of us. And, like, where do we want to take this? Like we always tell that story of me, like, not having traditional partners anymore. And so, but around that time, we were trying to transition into what we wanted to do as a duo, if you would say. And so all that stuff kind of aligned with our journey and dates back to, like, why we got into this and how we built it until now. It's been crazy.
Crazy. And do you feel like, thinking back to when we first even, like, met, we met through Wale?
Yeah. And Wale, I trusted Wale. So
Yo, that boy is cooked right now. That boy KD is higher than a kite right now.
And I respected his grind so much that anybody that worked with him or
Say less.
with him, I felt like I could trust them as well. So Wale was a huge factor in all of this. And as crazy as it sounds, he played a huge part early on in us even just meeting.
He really did. But Wale knew that I love sports, so when he was like, yo, go meet KD at the Jay-Z concert, I'm like, what?
And I didn't know y'all was such big sports fans. And media wasn't that big around that time, so I wasn't aware of who I was. You know what I'm saying?
That always amazes me. Like, you really didn't realize you were, like, famous. Like,
I had just come off a nice rookie year. I was on TV all the time playing in the NBA. Like, my stardom, I guess, started to grow around that time, but I had no clue of knowing. You know, nowadays you can see and get, you can get the feedback from everything now. I had no clue around '08 of, like, who I was or who knew me. So when y'all showed the like level
sir.
of I
W's
wouldn't
Jew.
say y'all were excited, but you kind of like, I felt like I was just one of the guys when I walked in there. It was a weird feeling.
It feels like, well, you were at Texas, right? And you knew that you made this mark at Texas, but I remember you like not even realizing that you were going pro for sure. Like you were like, I'm gonna come back to college, and then you go to Seattle, which in a lot of ways is like a college town. They love their team, but you guys weren't good. They were moving them, and you probably didn't realize like what impact you were starting to have. And then you go to Oklahoma City, but at that point the NBA started to become like global, and Oklahoma City got pretty well known and famous quick because of you and Russ and James. And you know what's crazy is because of like the last, let's say, 7 years, right? 3 years in the Bay felt like
Motion Array is the quickest way to make your content look amazing.
an eternity. Incredible, but it felt like an eternity. 4 years in Brooklyn felt like, if there's a word for an eternity times like a billion.
Infinity?
Yeah, infinity, eternity. And now you've been in Phoenix a year and a half, and it already feels like home, and like, you know, you're a Phoenix Sun. But you were in Oklahoma City for 9 years, and it now is starting to really like dawn on me when I see how good they are now. How do you feel when you see them like back to being like a team? Like, does it make you think of you guys at all?
No, I mean, I knew that the leadership there was smart enough to figure out how to continue to build the brand for one, and then build the team. You know, when you have your first entry into the NBA at Sam Presti, you got great players like Russ, James, myself, Serge Ibaka. You got veterans like Perk. You know, and as a young GM, Sam was like 30 when he was a GM. I didn't realize that. I mean, when I got 30 and I was 19 at the time, but he was 30 years old as a GM in the NBA. That's insane. So he was going through, we all were going through this maturation process and just figuring out what it is to be in the NBA in these positions. And I kind of knew how smart Sam was, that he'll figure it out. You know what I'm saying? But the craziest part is like seeing the city itself. Because when I first got there, it was like one skyscraper building, not many hotels. There wasn't much going on downtown. It was just a raw city that hasn't been exposed to, like, it felt like it was exposed to the rest of the country. And now you go there, they have resort hotels, they got, you know, multiple skyscraper buildings, you know, and building towards eventually having an all-star game there, which does so much for a city. You know what I'm saying? So I look at my time at OKC from that perspective, because we helped build a city up more so than just build a fan base for basketball. I felt like we built up the core and the culture of what this town is going to be about, you know? And
Bro,
all of that stuff.
Oh my God, I hate when I do this. That low-key might be facts, though. I don't know if I would have known of Oklahoma City before I knew that there was, like, the OKC Thunder. Like, I always knew of that city just because of the Thunder. And I only knew because of the Thunder because they had KD, so.
It comes together, and I realized what it's like not having a team in your market as opposed to having one, you know? So for us to do expansion and do what we're doing now, to see where they are now, I feel a part of it.
That's amazing. You know, and the first, I guess you and I have been working together since June of 2013. It was right when you guys lost to Memphis. Russ had got hurt. Mm-hmm. And I remember when I first came out there, like, I went to meet with Sam Presti, and it's crazy. You're right. He was 30 years old. It's crazy to think about how young he was.
It's crazy.
But I knew already he was that guy from the Spurs, right? Like, you already knew that he was this whiz kid. Like,
and when you hear the Spurs, you just know, you just think about championships, greatness, you established in this league.
Yep. So I go into this meeting with him, and you had already signed, I think you had signed your extension. Your contract wasn't up, but I went in to meet with him.
Yeah.
Like, let me show this guy I'm really in basketball. And none of this had happened. Like, Rock was really the first to do that. Like, now all of a sudden, like, these guys gave me the platform like this to be like, all right, cool, Rich, KD's agent. And now I'm in this room, and it's not like I'm keeping, like, I got the 11th guy on the bench, and I'm starting to, like, get my feet wet. I got to go talk to Sam Presti about Kevin Durant. So I'm like, let me go in there and start, like, just dropping some jewels, like, talking about the bird rights and just saying shit. And he was like, yo, tell me about that dude Tony that plays in Jay's band when he's on stage. And I'm like, excuse me? He's like, man, yeah, I'm a drummer, I'm a part-time or something like that. He was like, that dude Tony in Jay-Z's band, that's the best drummer ever. And I'm like, I'm going to be all right at this job, man.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that, and it was interesting because Sam felt like he had a different approach. Like when you go into his office, he got stuff like that, like memorabilia from music, from artists, and he got books about football coaches and painters. Like he's one of those dudes that see the game and see, team building in a different way. And I'm sure that made you comfortable when you walked in, when he asked you that.
You know what my philosophy is on it? That organization allowed me to grow, right? Matt Tumbleson took me in. Sam Presti took me in. Your whole coaching staff. And I swear to you, as a New York sports fan, and New York sports fans are the best. I always stand behind New York, obviously. But I had never seen, like, a connection like fans and players had, like I had seen in Oklahoma City, where when I walked in, the people at the, like, concession or the people that were taking your ticket felt like they were your family, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like the thing was, you did grow up with that city, and that city grew up with you, and it felt like a family loss, and it was bigger than basketball. And the Warriors part of it was just like, all right, that'll add to the fire, but it was really that this family had to separate.
Yeah, and I understood that, and I didn't.
Simulcasting is finally available on Twitch. Just stream as usual and simulcast your stream on.
Underestimate people's feelings about me not being a part of that family anymore. I took that in and gave it thought and understood what it meant and gave people their space and time to process it how they processed it, and then we'll have a conversation later. But I respected how real those feelings were and how real that family we built were. And I think regardless of me having that jersey on, it's going to still feel that way because OKC now has done, how many years now? 15, 16 years of its existence. They really are into the alumni now. And I can feel that when I go back. I can feel that talking to my former teammates. And that makes me feel proud because, like, we really started that organization off. And that's a testament to everybody there because they built that family. We all did, but it was encouraged every day that, like, yo, this is who we is. This is who we are when we come to Oklahoma City. Only major sports franchise in the city. Everybody's rallying around us in the whole state. It felt that way.
And you know what? It's going to age really well.
I think so, too. And even though it was rough for me with the fan base and some of the people that worked in the organization for a year or two, it was rough. But when I started to reflect on it, it was just like, it was special what we did, regardless of championships or not. I think that building a culture there so fast like we did and building a core fan base, not just in Oklahoma, around the world. I see people still Thunder fans from those days. That meant
So this must be his agent then, right here, that he's talking to.
a lot.
So clearly can't compare to Oklahoma City. And speaking of jerseys, your Sonic jersey is all over the world. But like Austin, Texas, your connection to Seattle is ill. I'm just going to ask you straight up. Do you want to be a part of the Seattle Supersonics if it was available to you at some point in your life?
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. I feel like that franchise, for one, is an iconic brand within the NBA. I feel like that market is a basketball market that needs the influence of the NBA team in that city to take that so to continue to inspire that city and bring and produce more and more basketball players. Because I believe that. I believe if a city has an NBA team, you'll get more and more kids inspired to want to become NBA players as opposed to not having a team. And it's a franchise I play for, so I have some pride for it. So, and I believe it will be back. I believe it will be a part of expansion in the league and to help run the team and help guide the team as they come back into the league. I would absolutely love that. And when I retire, obviously I would. That's a dream come true. That's probably one of the only things that I would really lock in, like I would, like I was playing again. It would feel close to that.
And I know that you could truly walk in to a franchise? And I bet you our good friend Bob Myers would attest, because he's had countless hours of conversations with you about basketball.
I always enjoy watching other players. Even in high school, I always followed what I liked, and players in my class and players that were coming out of high school after me. I always kept my eye on them. But I think once I got to OKC, and me and Troy Weaver, who's the GM of Detroit now, we started having these little conversations just about players in college and high school, what he's seen out of players. And we would have these conversations periodically, and I was just always interested in those. So every chance I get to bring him to the side to just talk about a game or a player, I would do it. And that just started to build up my eye for the game. The different things I started watching, the details that I started to watching throughout the game. And then each team I went to, I built that relationship with every GM, with Bob Myers, with Sean Marks, with Josh Bartelstein, James Jones right now. We just talk ball. And I think having those conversations over the last 15 years has helped shape my mind to understand what it takes to be a professional, on top of my own experience as a professional. So I feel like, I can add value to any franchise just based off of my just learning over time, my experience as an individual player in this league as well, and just having the will to do something, So it's always been fun evaluating and seeing where the game is going. It's just, and I feel like I feel like I've been telling you what I see through my eyes too, from a basketball perspective, which helped you as well understand the game at a different level, from a different perspective. You knew the game, but seeing it from a different perspective too.
When I was around you and around your peers, right, I started to hear a master class, and I realized and have learned now a whole other way to communicate about the game. And it's truly another language, it really is.
Yeah. It's weird because the game is so simple, but it's just so many intricacies of the game, the subtleties of the game, that if you don't watch it or play it consistently, that you can overlook, And since you've been on the journey with me for so long, I'm calling you after games. I'm calling you after the tough stretch. We talking through a good game. What was you thinking there? When I hit that shot against Chicago, yo, how did you double pump and see this? You seeing the details throughout the game now, just for having those conversations. And I just feel like that's what the NBA is. It's just it's like Harvard for basketball, where you get from the business perspective, from, what it's like to be the last man on the bench to the best player on the team. Every role I feel like I've seen and studied just from my travels throughout the league, that, I understand what it takes to become a solid basketball player and help build a solid brand on the court. I tell people all the time, it's people that's in the grind with me, that's answering the phone after every game, that's traveling on the road to Indiana's and the back-to-backs with me, who's up till 2 or 3 a.m., going through this whole grind with me, feeling the same way I feel after wins and losses. You're in the NBA too. Regardless of you suiting up and getting sweaty, you understand mentally what it's like to go through a grind of an NBA season. And agents don't get that respect. They're not getting sweaty or dirty, but they in the grind just as much as the players, and they truly understand what it's like what life is like being an NBA player.
I agree. Looking back now, me and you've been working together 11 years. 7, 8 years ago, we went on our own. You took such a leap of faith, because where I was at in my life, I was lost, in terms of from here and here, right? So I had a lot of passion. I knew I had the intelligence, but these things were disconnected completely, and I wasn't feeling good about myself. But that's what I think our partnership is about. It's honor the fact that you gave me that chance.
That's crazy, bro. You hear this type of stuff all the time. Where honestly, it really does not matter, bro. How many people find you or see you, or you know what I'm saying? All it takes is just that one right person. So for him, that shit was KD. That man KD locked in with him and shit. Now look at them. They chilling on this beautiful property shit.
And like you said, you hit it well. I didn't truly know what you was going through until we started talking about it after the fact. But I just seen your passion for wanting to get better and wanting to master what you was doing. And the grace in which you did it, with a lot of, frankly, a lot of bullshit being thrown your way. You jumping into an industry you didn't know much about. I see how you handled it, and I was just like, well, this, and then our relationship built pretty fast. Like, I felt comfortable telling you everything that was going on in my life, and you understood it so quickly and easily. And so all of that coming together, I'm just like, yeah, I feel like I don't mind taking this leap of faith and seeing where this goes, because I feel like this is somebody I could just trust. And it just started from there. And we didn't have a plan or like, yo, we're gonna build the boardroom when you get with me, or we're gonna invest in this when you get with me. It was just like, yo, let's just see where this goes. And just having that thought process of wanting to just build and not worry about what can come down the line, it made me way more at ease and be like, yo, this is actually the guy I've been looking for. You know what I'm saying? And as a professional, somebody who's trying to build a brand and build who you are in this space, that's what I was looking for the whole time. Somebody I can really just not have that player-agent relationship, but somebody I can really call my brother that we can work together. And that's a hard thing to find. You know that too, mixing that personal with the business and it working.
HitPaw Video Enhancer is an AI
L-ads, come on now.
35 years old, like we started talking about, like we just said, the Seattle Supersonics, and obviously Boardroom, something we've built to, build as far as we can build it. But there's a lot of things that you and I have talked about that you could do, would do, have the opportunity to do. Have you started even thinking about that, or do you still feel like, you're young KD that's just playing ball?
Yeah, I still feel like I'm that kid that's still hoping. But it's almost impossible not to think about it. And I can feel my mind drifting towards there when I see somebody my age going to transition out of the game and start doing something that I wouldn't mind doing when I'm done playing. Like be a GM or do what Grant Hill's doing and run Team USA, or become an owner of a franchise. Or just run the boardroom when I'm done, So I get inspired by seeing people do those things all the time. But there's also a part of me that kind of snaps out of it and say, yo, I'm still in the grind with the youngsters, still playing the game. But I'm at a point at being 35 and hearing it every day from my peers and from people around the game, being 17 years in, it's hard not to think about it. But I feel like being in the league and understanding and being this player that I am at this point in the league is preparing me mentally to be ready to take on different roles. And I think that's just the core of the game, is being disciplined, being consistent every single day, working well with others, working towards a common goal. And I think those traits can transfer over, to anything if I put my mind into it.
Do you, at 35 years old, feel like your game has changed at all?
No, because I still feel myself doing the same moves I was doing since I was 8 or 9 years old. My mentality and my approach has changed for sure. And just understanding what it takes to win an NBA basketball game at different parts of the season. Understanding what it's like playing in the back-to-back, in the playoffs, in the play-in, preseason, like what a shoot-around is like. I think I've gained understanding of that, and now that my approach to all of those different scenarios have changed, so I can be any different player any given night based on where we are in the season. You know what I'm saying? I think that takes a lot of, it takes up a lot of work to truly think on that level of each game may be different, so you got to be prepared and ready for anything. That's like I had to release a lot of other thoughts so I could just focus on that. And sometimes me retiring and what may happen when I retire gets lost in that shuffle of trying to focus on, all right, my role may change tonight on court, So it's, I think that's how my game has changed more so than my skill set and what I'm doing out there.
Do you have more perspective for how incredible it is that, forget who you are, just that you really are doing what you love? Like, because I know I've gained perspective in my 40s. I wish I had more of it in my 30s, but it feels like you have.
Yeah. I've gained perspective, especially after winning championships and being at the highest level, I gain a lot of perspective on, like, what am I truly doing this for? Because when you reach the mountaintop and all we covered is an NBA championship, and when you finally get there, you start to realize, like, this is not it. It's like, it's not the only thing you want to do. It's like you want to continue to keep going after that. Then you do it for a second time. It's just like, damn, have I accomplished everything? What's really pushing me to continue to wake up every day and do this? And it went back down to just like, I truly just love the craft. And that's what's keeping me up every day, regardless of what happens around that and the results from that. I just enjoy the craft, and that's something that's that I've learned from winning and losing and just being in the league over time, that it's simply about perfecting what I'm doing every day.
I feel like that's why it's so hard for people to believe that when you talk about the GOAT conversation, for instance, right, that you're talking about it in that sense. And I think it's hard for people to believe it at all. It's like, I actually think that people don't think that everyone has an asterisk next to your championships.
Yeah. And I almost say that stuff to challenge people's thinking on why do you even have a GOAT list, for one, and what does it actually mean in the grand scheme of things, and to also highlight that it's such a subjective thing that I can ask 20 people that you may not ever know or talk to who they go, and they may say me, they may say Tracy McGrady or Paul George, but what does it matter? Like, at the end of the day, what truly matters in this thing? You know what I'm saying? And so, like,
I'm sorry, KD, but I don't think anybody's putting Tracy McGrady or Paul George in the GOAT conversation. I mean, maybe T-Mac, I guess. Not even, no. You can't, like, what the fuck type of comment was that? Let me run that back. 'Cause I'm not sure if I heard that one right. I think I might have misheard that.
Such a subjective thing that I can ask 20 people that you may not ever know or talk to who they go, and they may say me, they may say Tracy McGrady or Paul George, but what does it matter? Like, at the end of the day, what truly matters in this thing? You know what I'm saying? And so, like, yeah, I've heard people come up to me and passionately tell me I'm the greatest they ever seen, and I feel like I've accomplished things on the court and been in situations that the greatest have seen. So I feel like I can have a conversation about basketball with a Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant or LeBron James. Not about bragging about how much we've done, but like, what did you see out there? Did I see the same things? I feel like I can have those conversations with the greatest that ever played. And they would feel comfortable knowing that I understand where they're coming from and their perspective on the game of basketball, because I'm well-traveled and I'm truly a student of the game, on top of me experiencing the same things they did. So when I say this GOAT thing, it's more so like, can I have a real basketball conversations with some of the best that's ever played basketball or walked those sidelines? And I believe so.
Do you care about the asterisk shit, honestly? Do you care when you hear people say it?
No, I not as much as I care about the storytelling around the game. Don't dilute the storytelling around the game because of your personal opinions and emotions, and let's just present the facts around the game, because that's what's going to push the game forward if we continue to tell a history the right way. If we revise history based on how you personally feel, now you're getting in the way of the story. And what makes you bigger than our story when you're not even playing? That's how I look at it. And so, I don't, the asterisk.
Damn, okay, bro. When he puts it like that, bro, that's a very well way to put it, though. Like, because ESPN, bro, like, all these sports media outlets, they be pushing for the top markets to just win. And sometimes, yeah, they do be, like, misscrewing, you know, a lot of things because they want to have the Warriors and the favorites of the headlines, or Lakers or Mavericks, like those big market teams, the New York Knicks. Like, sometimes they do be fucking up the sports and shit just for the better sake of those big market teams.
Don't bother me more so than the people that's just saying it for the simple fact that you're upset or you're emotional.
Because them ESPN motherfuckers be getting mad as fuck every time the Lakers lose. Anytime the Lakers are out, or the Warriors, or the Knicks, any of those big market name teams, for some reason, bro, it's like ESPN is like allergic to talking about like any of the other teams. They don't like the other teams, bro.
It's just like, I know what I did. Obviously, this in the record books is black and white. It's stamped to me.
Let's have a real high-level conversation about basketball sometimes. Don't just bucket Kevin as one of the best scorers in the face of the earth.
Yeah.
And then the GOAT conversation. But you can then acknowledge, like, for that conversation, they're going to leave me out unless I do X, Y, and Z. But in this conversation where hoopers know and people that want to talk about basketball as a sport, I'll be in any conversation.
Yeah.
You're comfortable with that?
Yeah, and I don't mind jumping in that conversation of people who say I need to prove something to them to do X, Y, and Z, because I know my history, I know what I've done, so I can have those conversations too. And then I could just talk basketball with people who don't look at stuff like that. All I knew was storytelling around the NBA as a kid. I wasn't watching every game. I didn't have the NBA package. I couldn't, you know what I'm saying? It was one TV in the house, and there's 5 or 6 of us. I couldn't turn on what I wanted to turn on as the youngest. And so when they listen and hear about what's going on with the game, I feel like it has, in order for that kid to truly get the best experience of what it's like, the truth has to be told. And what I'm saying is bigger than just me. It's just the overall fact of what's going on in the NBA and the storytelling around the NBA. It should be based on facts more so than whoever's writing this personal biased opinion.
Yeah. Well, sadly, there's space for both. Most networks, lean towards one version of it, and pound for pound, the people that are talking about it really do know the game.
That's
a lot of them know
facts.
the game. But, we know what sells. And I think what's unfortunate is that, let's look at your...
It's whatever sells, and ESPN is going to go for that. All these big markets, sport media outlets are going to go for whatever sells, bro.
How do you work?
Let's not even look at the accolades that I've accumulated. Just look at the seasons of the numbers.
Oh, we're going to get to that.
You know what I'm saying? And how long are those seasons and those numbers, how consistent those numbers are. That, to me, is a career. And no matter how many accolades you accumulate, like, I have high level respect for Stephon Marbury, and he has no accolades or no real stake in any of these conversations. But you look at it, you look at the 9 or 10 seasons that he played. You know what I'm saying?
Well, but that's the thing. So then when you talk about the GOAT conversation, right, and I'm not here advocating for you to be in it or not be in it. I'm saying that...
And me either.
Right. No, I know you're not.
I'm just questioning just the whole conversation itself.
I hear you, because what I was saying is, if you do 2
Hey,
championships...
Stephon Marbury was that dude, though. Let's just shout him out real quick. Who remembers the Starburys? I think I seen him one time at like Big 5 when I was a kid. Bro, I wish I low-key wanted them. Back then, the Starburys were tough.
2 finals MVPs, an MVP, 4 scoring titles, 3 Olympic gold medals, all-time Olympic scorer. Then you talk about 17 years in the league, 16 years playing because you missed an entire year for what? The craziest injury ever, which is never spoken about. I could say this.
Yeah.
And also another year of your season where you missed 50 games, 60 games with an injury that people didn't
Well, I
even
should have
realize.
probably missed the whole season, really.
You played like 12 games or 18 games.
27. But if I would have did the last surgery we did that first, then I would have missed the whole year.
People don't realize that your Jones fracture surgery was 3 surgeries for 1 injury. Your foot is so fucking different that...
Oh man, they were saying that's a career-threatening injury.
Yeah.
Because of the blood flow that goes to the bone, and it might not all the way. Like, it was a bunch of, you know how that shit is.
That was
where
scary, bro.
All of this shit was scary. Even when the Achilles, and it was like, man, you may get blood clots if you don't control
You
certain.
were bugging from the blood
I was
clots.
bugging them all of that because I felt like it was affecting my whole body, just my Achilles, because it's such a major ligament. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's what goes unnoticed when you talk about professional athletes and how we deal with injuries. You know what I'm saying? And what it takes to really come out of that. And you was in it with me every day.
Bro, went to all 3 surgeries with you, obviously, but the third one, I had back surgery 3 days before.
Oh yeah, I remember that. And you you was on a flight, not even first class.
No, first
Seat
class,
didn't-
bro.
seat
This
didn't
was
lean
middle
back.
seat, last row of the plane joint.
And
Like
you had what was it? This
I had
surgery.
the microdiscectomy or some shit. Yep. Then I remember you get to the Bay, and you remember the first year in the Bay, you got hurt in D.C. We go to get an MRI or an X-ray. They look at it and they say that you're probably out for the year. And
Oh my gosh! They
You remember
told
what
us.
happened?
They told us that I was out for the year, and there's been a 30, 45 minute wait period before they called us back. So imagine that 30 to 45 minutes, we were in.
bro, tears.
Yes.
Because you had just left to go from Oklahoma City to the Bay. You were bumping, and if you got hurt and they kept playing and winning, like, there was so much stress on you, there was so much bullshit that, like, what, you're out for the year?
Yeah, it was just, and it was devastating. It was totally devastating to the point where it's just flat out tears as soon as they said that, because it's just like, come on, it can't play out this way.
No.
But then when we got the call, yeah, let's tell you how bad DC traffic is. We still in the car 45 minutes later on the way to the hotel, and they called us and told us that there's a 4 or 6 week injury, and just a bone bruise, and I was so relieved, and we almost celebrated. And I remember that next morning, Zaza was because Zaza the one that fell into my leg, he was so distraught. Like, I felt so bad for him. It's like 6 or 7 in the morning. He knocked on my door now, and he's just so apologizing so much. I felt so bad, but he didn't realize that, like, yo, you didn't get that news we got,
No, he's straight up.
and then get the other news we got. So I was excited at that time. So I was like, Zab, man, it's all good. I'm
Good.
gonna
I'll
get
see
right
you in the
back.
playoffs.
I hold it down for you.
Bro, Zaza Pachulia, bro, who remembers that fool? I remember for a small minute, bro, the world fucking hated Zaza Pachulia.
And that eased his mind too. And I love Zaza. That's one of my favorite teammates ever. And I love that he came and did that. But that just shows the emotional roller coaster this league, and being an NBA player, and all that stuff matters, bro. And not just me. People around me feel that too.
Oh my God. So you're Achilles, right? Let's just paint a picture for 1 second. You guys have won 2 championships in a row. You know, you're playing the Toronto Raptors. You're missing the first few games. There's a lot of buzz of whether you're going to come back.
Grab a drink real fast. I'll be right back.
And you call me. I'm in New York. It's right before Game 5. And you said to me, yo, get Mary Beth. We need the massage therapist to meet me in Toronto. I said, why, what's up? You're like, I'm going to play. And, bro, it was, like, more heroic than I think people even realize, to be fair. And I fly to Toronto, and no one knew you were playing, so I ended up being the only person there. It was, like, bad weather. And I come into town, and we're having that, like, I felt like Don King and Mike Tyson. I remember I was talking to you. I was like, bro, this about to be that motherfucking moment. You taking this series back. This is it. Then you was like, come on the team bus with me, bro. I'm like, hell yeah. I wore sweats because I was like, I got to be in the moment.
Yeah.
So I wore Warrior sweats. I got on the bus. I remember Draymond dapped me up. And this was a bucket list moment for me. And then the fucking arena buzzing, Drake there. And what happened after that was honestly like a movie, a fucking movie. We're in the back with 4 doctors, Bob, the team's not even back, and no one can talk. And it's obvious you tore your Achilles. Do you remember that moment still like it was yesterday? Do you block that shit out?
No, I remember.
Dog, when this shit went down, I was genuinely sad for Kevin Durant, bro. This was the only time I really felt like the Warriors, like, I felt bad for the Warriors, and I felt like they had gotten snubbed by, like, the injuries and shit. Because they was definitely on pace to win that shit all. Let's be real. If KD doesn't get hurt, the Warriors are champions that season. Come on now. Who are they playing? The Raptors?
Bro, I remember it's a huge moment in my life, man. It's a life-changing moment. As I was walking back, I knew for a fact that it was done. Because when I was walking, it wasn't. I didn't feel like I had a normal foot. Like it felt like my foot was hanging, but I was just walking on my heel, and I couldn't feel anything else but my heel. So I'm like, this is no way I can even walk straight or try to walk straight right now. So I know it's just not like no strain or nothing. And I heard a pop. It's 20,000 people in there. It's the finals, and I heard a pop. So I'm like, oh my gosh. And my whole basketball career just flashing before my eyes. Everything I did, everything that I thought about, all my favorite moments, all my bad moments, it flashed. And that's why if you watch, I'm just sitting there gazing into the crowd before somebody came over and helped me up, because I'm just like, this shit is over with. Like, I truly don't know what I'm about to be, and that's a nerve-wracking feeling when you don't know who you are.
That was scary shit.
You know what I'm saying? And as I was walking back, you know, I seen everybody, and Kyle Lowry was trying to settle the crowd down. I seen Drake over there upset. I love that dude so much, bro. Like, you knew and he knew. And because I tell him everything. And I seen how mad he was about it. And then as I went back to the locker room, they give you this test where I guess they squeeze on your calf to see if your foot will move. And my foot would move, and that's when every doctor knows that. And I remember the doctor did that, and he was just looking around and just didn't say nothing.
No one wanted to say shit.
He just couldn't say nothing. And I was just like, fuck, this is it. And that's when I knew. I was like, all right, I probably won't go back to the Bay again. And this whole thing is just, this is the end of this whole thing. Yeah, it was just like, this is the end of this whole thing. Like, I had left to come on that road trip, and I didn't even go back to the Bay after that to get my clothes or nothing. Y'all all did that for me. Went straight to New York, got surgery, and was a New Yorker since then. And it was such a, man.
And then the Brooklyn flop chapter begins.
Man, it was such a defining moment in my career, bro. People don't realize the thoughts that I had as I was going through all of that shit, because it affects your human life at that point. You can't walk, you can't function like a regular human. You got to learn how to walk again, on top of you trying to learn how to be an athlete again. You know what I'm saying? And it was just, man, it was tough. Just because I didn't know what the recovery is like, you just hear about it. You know, it's different when you go through it. So
a lot of skeleton ain't cross the road, because he ain't have the guts to do it.
Nigga, shut up, bruh. I don't know, man. I seen Kai Cenat went live real quick, so I had to see what he was on. But let's get back to this video.
All I knew was just like, this is the toughest injury ever. It's gonna be hard to come back from. It's a 7, 8, it's a year process. Every day is tedious. That's all I kept hearing. So I'm just like, and I knew I can grind out of rehab, but I'm just like, will that even help? You know what I'm saying? I know I get back, but will I really be the one that I was before? And that was stressing me out, because I couldn't know until I started. And then my mind started to get at ease when I started playing pickup. When I started going against other players that were in the NBA. And I'm like, I can still drive past him. I can still shoot over this guy. There's certain stuff that I was missing out of my game that I had to build back up again. Like my range from deep. Like stopping on the dime, pulling up from deep. Like my fadeaways going right off my leg, pushing off this right leg. I feel like I had to build that stuff up, and it was stressful, but I was like, I still feel solid around the younger players in the league. So that's when I started to test myself out. That's when I got better, and that's when my mind became more at ease, and I was starting to realize, like, oh, I can do this again. And then it happened over time. Like my first preseason game, I was like, okay, my first 6-7 games in the league, I was playing all right. I was like, all right. Then my first playoff series, this is the highest intensity of basketball, playing against the Milwaukee Bucks, a champion. I'm like, all right, this is the highest level of ball, and I can play 48 minutes straight. All right, I'm back. That's when I finally realized, like, all right, I'm all right.
Well, it's funny you say that, because in some ways I think it's crazy that two of the most defining moments in your career, and your career is not new.
Bro, what's crazy about that series is if KD's toe like isn't on the line, Brooklyn probably wins the whole thing that year. And who's to say that Kevin Durant doesn't want out of Brooklyn? Maybe he wants to stay in Brooklyn with Kyrie and James after one chip. Maybe they want to go and try to get another one. But shit.
Done, and you've accomplished so much, is this Achilles injuries on the biggest stage ever.
Yeah.
And having one of the most epic, iconic games in New York City that came up a quarter of an inch short, right? And I'm not one of them people that's like, man, the media don't treat you right. Like, I get it. We get the asterisks. We get it all.
Yeah.
We get it all. But what I'm talking about is that, like, can't we spend a little time on the fact that you are 10th all-time in scoring, you missed 2 full seasons. You're 4th all-time or 3rd all-time in scoring average. You've played 16 years in the NBA. Like you said, one of those seasons you only played 27 games, and every year you're averaging.
He said, "Facts, Suns not winning that either or." That is true, but I mean the Lakers aren't either, because I think we swept them. So yeah, either way, the Lakers wasn't gonna go get that shit either. So hey, just saying.
26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 32, shooting over 50%. That conversation, whether you want to put it in the GOAT, you want to put it in the best hooper ever, that conversation is important. It's important for me to have out there, and it's one of the things I wanted to get across in this interview, because when I was hearing you talk about it the other day, everyone went right to your decision. Like, cool, take the decision.
Yeah, but also see this.
Just see this.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you have to accomplish more? Are you at all motivated?
Bro, if you don't think the Suns... If you think the Suns would struggle against the Brooklyn Nets that season in the finals, what the fuck do you think would happen to the Lakers, my nigga? The Suns might lose maybe like 4-2 series. I'll give them that. But if the Lakers have to play the Nets in 2020, I promise you they're sweeping them. It's a clean sweep. You can bring out the brooms and the dustpan. Start cleaning up, because it's a clean sweep.
By this, by
little
the story,
bitch.
the narrative.
Fuck the Lakers, nigga. Niggas suck.
Like,
What's the score right now? Let me check the score, matter of fact.
But I've never been motivated by that. It's always been about, can I perfect the craft tonight? Can I be at my best tonight? It's always the challenge more so than anything.
That's right.
And once...
Yeah, check that score.
I started to
check that score. Check that score.
This was my goal all along, was to build my craft to the best that I
Boy, that Mickey Mouse ring. Ooh, Mickey Mouse ass ring.
can get it and fitting that into a team, instead of like, I just want to win championships and have these accolades for myself. That's when the game started to become more fun to me. And that's what I lean on more than anything. So once the game once I don't enjoy that part of it, then that's probably when I think about when it's time for me. But I enjoy so much of, like, even the calls. I'm like, man, fuck, I hated this fucking game tonight. This is a shitty game by us. I enjoy knowing that, all right, I can go back the next game and avenge our loss. You know what I'm saying? I enjoy that part of the grind. So, you know, it's just, for me, like, the narratives are, I hear them and I listen to them and it inspires me and fuels me, but it's not the reason I play. You know what I'm saying? It's just something I can't avoid.
And I would say there's been times where the people closest to you are like, bro, shoot more. Like,
Yeah.
I think, if anything, you know, I see the scoring in the league right now, and it's insane, right? And I mean, the talent level's off the charts, but I feel like there's games you could have went for 50 or 60, and you've just chosen to commit to playing the way you like to play, game in and game out, no matter what.
Yeah, it's times where I would have had high number of points in the first quarter, and they could easily turn into a big night. But I was trying to do what it takes to win the basketball game. And if it takes for me to go have to score big and shoot a lot of shots, then I'll have to do it. But sometimes when I had those high-scoring games, now by the time I get back into the game, now we got to play more of a team game, and I might not be able to get those big numbers. And I had to be cool with that early on, knowing that, all right, I play with great players that can do the same things too. So sometimes it may not be all about me. And that's the beauty of playing on great teams and going to the Warriors and playing for the Nets and playing for the Suns. And you play around great players and different perspectives around the game, you understand it's bigger than you. And I learned that over time. And I think that's a part of the growth of being more than just a scorer.
Why do you think people in the media think you're not a good leader, or that you're not a leader?
I'm not as charismatic as my peers. I don't have a personality that's like fit for TV like my peers, and a lot of those stories of what we talk about don't get spoken about in the media, and that's just really what it is. It's like you got to sell what you're doing as well, and I haven't sold it enough, you know. And I feel like I don't feel like I need to. I don't feel like I want people to call me a leader, but I also don't want people to say I'm not one either. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't.
Bro, all right, let's just pause this for a second because I just got a notification from ESPN. Nikola Jokic becomes the first player with 15 points, 15 rebounds, 15 assists, and 100% shooting in a game. This nigga went perfect. I mean, aside from the 15 points, but this nigga deadass was perfect in every box, every part of the box score.
See what goes on behind the scenes, or what I talk about on my intentions, or the relationships that I built with my teammates and support staff. But when guys like that say that, I just got to chalk it up to them just not being aware of what goes on, instead of like wanting to, you know, push a narrative for myself. Maybe not a narrative, or tell the truth for myself. Or expose the truth on how great of a leader I am. I don't feel like it's necessary. I'll just chalk it up to those guys not being aware of who I am.
Yeah. But you know what else I think? You're happy. People think like, they're like, why KD not happy? Why is KD look so miserable? Like,
but it's times where I become. It's times where
I used to think KD was a mean ass nigga when I was a little kid, bro. When I was a little kid, I used to think KD was a mean ass nigga, just because he never really had much enthusiasm. But he's just a chill ass dude.
Unhappy. That's just human nature. When we don't play well as a team, I'm not happy. It may not last for a long time, but I'm not happy for a good 4 or 5 hours when I call you after a bad game. You know what I'm saying? I'm not happy. And I think that's just like, once we accept that we have normal human emotions and reactions, of course my life is good. Of course I can't complain about anything. But in the moment some shit happens, I'm not going to fake like I'm not upset about it because I'm living such a great life. No, I want this to work out. So I'm going to figure out and go. And sometimes you being upset helps you figure out.
Bro, that's just a testament to people who care about their craft, honestly. I feel that for sure. Because people will always be like, oh, you're being too sensitive about this, being too sensitive about that. Maybe, but like also it's good to care about the shit that you do, bruh. It's good to be nervous about shit too. That means you care. The moment that you start saying like whatever to those L's, bro, that means you clearly don't care.
The problem. Or, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes me not liking what's going on is going to help me get to a solution better, you know, but that doesn't mean my life overall is unhappy.
But you, like, do you miss at all or ever think like, man, maybe I should have stuck with this? Was that before you went to the Bay, when we worked together, and before that, I mean, you were the face of the league. You had 12 commercials, you with the backpack on. Everyone was like, KD's like, that's who I want to bring home as my son. Like, right? That's the kind of kid I want my daughter to marry. Then all of a sudden you turned into like, you know, a villain, and you played it up at times. It was fun, and it was also just like, I think at times you've been boxed in because you're not a villain like we keep saying in this real world, right? Like in the real world, everyone fucks with you. Fans vote you in. People love you. We see it. The evidence is there. You've impacted people around the world.
Yeah.
But in the movie script, you became the villain. Do you miss the other character?
Nah, I kind of like being this right now. not saying not saying what I was in my earlier years was fake, because I really wanted to be a part of the NBA story. Like, when you spoke about the NBA, I wanted people to speak about me too. You know, they don't speak about the LeBrons, the D Roses at the time, the Kobe's. I'm like, I'm playing well enough to, like, when you talk about the league, you should speak about me too. And I wanted to be that. So, like, I wanted to show people more of my personality, my funnier side, or my kiddie side, or what I enjoyed about being in the NBA. I cared about showing the fan bases and the people who followed the league, I cared about showing them that. Because I thought that's what, like, superstar players are supposed to do. And over time, it just became exhausting. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's something against, like, wanting to be that brand or wanting to be out in the public like that. But it's just like, I like my own space, and I like doing and I wanted to be that. So, like, I wanted to show people more of my personality, my funnier side, or my kiddie side, or what I enjoyed about being in the NBA. I cared about showing the fan bases and the people who followed the league, I cared about showing them that. Because I thought that's what, like, superstar players are supposed to do. And over time, it just became...
What is that? What is that A right there for? Is that the Amamanier pack? Or am I just sounding like a dumbass? I'm pretty sure these are 5s. These have to be 5s. I think I see a Jordan Jumpman logo on this foot.
Became exhausting. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's something against, like, wanting to be that brand or wanting to be out in the public like that. But it's just like, I like my own space, and I like doing what I'm doing without having any obligations. I like that better. Like, you know what I'm saying? That side was fun too. I had a good time, and it built, and then there's a foundation for a lot of what we're doing now. But I enjoy just moving how I move right now, and I think it's just all the evolution of, like, you know, wearing all black, or, you know, doing 1 or 2 commercials every couple years, and not being as talkative as we were before, but just doing the work behind the scenes. I kind of like how we approaching stuff now. How y'all boys shooting today, man? How y'all? Play the scramble.
Yo, it's that boy D-Book. Okay, so they definitely out here in AZ for sure. That boy D-Book fresh as hell, bruh. Look at D-Book, bro. Such an inspiration. Such an inspiration, man. Look at D-Book. How inspirational is that?
Let me know. All right, fellas.
Bro, just look at him. How
One thing
inspirational.
you need to do before you buy anything online. Don't spend another dime on Amazon.
Like those guys.
The sun's gone down. We see your teammates coming back from the golf course already, and we're still here kicking it, bro.
Yeah, man. Playing nice, we done set up for 2 or 3 hours. Like, oh shit, I got something to do in a second.
I feel like when Oprah interviewed Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
It's just slow, man.
You know, he off that drink too. You know, he off that
no
drink.
time limit.
Your perception of yourself. Maybe it's a good thing that you don't realize, I think, that you're Kevin Durant sometimes.
No, I know that I am who I am. But I don't truly believe people care as much as they portray. That's my thing.
And I think sometimes maybe that's why you're a bit shocked by reactions.
I wouldn't say I'm shocked by the reaction, but just how long you keep that reaction.
Yeah, like how
That's actually a real key to success right there, honestly. Cause he still knows he that dude, but he's sometimes gonna act like he's like the other people around him, like they don't care as much that he's that dude. So that keeps him going. That's a WKD.
along, because the reaction can be emotional. If it lingers, it's personal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm shocked at.
At how long it's felt.
How long it's lingered, and how much it's become personal. Because when you want to diminish and revise history on some shit that I did, and then when I correct you on it, you say that I'm insecure about it. It's just like, hold on, what kind of mind?
But the thing is, it's not personal when, it's funny about Stephen A. This is my favorite, and I love Stephen A. You know what's funny? Everyone that talks about Stephen A. says beforehand. I love Stephen A.
Before you about to tell the truth,
because they
I love
scared
it.
as shit. God forbid.
Because that's how
blast
he
you one
said.
day.
Because he go, man, I love this guy, greatest scorer of all time. But
Yeah. And like he shows up for us. He showed up for the show, and he
Yo, that was a pretty accurate impression, KD. I ain't gonna lie, that was pretty on spot.
does love you. Like I know he does, but he'll always qualify by like good brother,
great brother, love his family,
love his family, love his mom.
love his brothers, know those brothers really well.
But that was the worst decision I've ever seen anyone ever make in the history of the NBA.
Man, Stephen A. is a guy who has a big voice, and his opinion matters in this whole grand scheme of things. And
He's so entertaining.
as much as he can get my perspective on how I'm feeling, I'm thinking that's gonna make y'all job better when you hear it from somebody like me, the truth. So a lot of these reactions were that for me, like, yo, I want you to just be better at your job. I want you to if the people will subscribe to everything that is me, at least tell the story right.
Who's going to be the best player in the NBA in 10 years? That's around now. Not that it's not in the league.
Yeah.
That's the thing though with these media outlets, even with news, bruh. Nobody's ever gonna tell the 1000% truth because the people don't want the truth. People want to hear whatever it is that they want to hear, and these media outlets know that shit. So, sorry, KD.
10 years, so that's what, 2030? Victor
Wembanyama.
Wembanyama.
Is Anthony Edwards different the way I think he's different?
Yeah.
Who's going to be the best player in the NBA in 10 years? That's around now. Not that it's not in the league.
Yeah. 10 years, so that's what, 2030? Victor Wembanyama.
Is Anthony Edwards different the way I think he's different?
Yeah. Yeah. He's a team builder. Like his personality, his demeanor is something you can build around and have people come into the gym and say, yo, be like that. Those are the ones. You walk in the gym and see him working hard. You walk in him and he being a great teammate and bringing everybody with him. Those are culture builders, I think. I think Victor, it's a lot. It's I don't want to name just a few names because there's so many that I think that can be that for franchises. But off top, and since you named Ant and Vic, those two for sure can be that.
Did you know Joel was going to be this good?
Once he started playing, I did. When coming into the league, I didn't know much about his game. But when I seen him on the floor, because he missed his first year.
When he first came into the league, he said he was ass. I think when he first came into the league, he wasn't that bad, to be honest.
Year and a half, I think, or 2 years maybe with injuries. Once he started playing and I seen how easily he did everything, I was like, yeah, it's gonna be a problem.
Did you think Luka was this good?
No.
no.
The last
Fuck
time I
no.
started playing against
Bro, not one person on this planet could tell me they knew Luka was gonna be Luka. Like, let's be real. Same with Jokic. You can't look me in the face with a straight face and say that you knew Jokic was gonna be Jokic, bro.
It's hard to say what a dude get drafted that he gonna do what these dudes are doing right now. But when
Exactly, bro. Come
you play
on.
against them and you see the support they got behind them and just the style of play they playing with, you can tell they're gonna do some historic shit.
Like, bro, you telling me you got a lineup to draft? Are you gonna take a Jokic build? No way, bro. Ain't no way.
What's surprised you about Book's game that you didn't know?
His mentality, when it's time to hunt and to kill, he's all about that. And he doesn't let up either. And I've never seen somebody, I've seen it before, but playing on the team with somebody you look up in the first quarter, he could easily get 25 to 30 points in the first quarter. Shit, quickly like that. But just his mentality to go score the ball is something I underestimated. I didn't truly know it was this, was at this level.
Last player I'm going to ask you about, young dude, Cooper Flag.
See, young dudes, it's hard to truly understand when you're playing against high school competition. You don't know who's the best of the best, and I don't know what's the best version of that competition. But the intangibles that he has, his measurables, and his raw talent, I can see that through the TV. When you're 6'10" and you can run up and down the floor like that, and got the instincts with the basketball
Bro is 6'10".
like that, you're only gonna, if you work at it and if you care and if you put in, if you're consistent with who you are, like I said, showing up every day. If you show up every day and work and be the best as you can be, I think Cooper Flag can be one of the top players in the league for 15 years.
Is it not absolutely, utterly staggering what LeBron has done for this long?
Oh my gosh.
It's insane, bro.
It's like when he was in his 14th, 15th year, I was just like, when he's the 17th, 18th year, it's just like, damn, that's actually is dope. When you're 39 in your 20th year, and then like half your life is in the league, and then you played against like 40% of the players that's ever played in the league, it's just like, that longevity has to mean something. There has to be a standard. Like, if you really truly want to know what greatness is like, of course you can accumulate.
Honestly, bro, they should make LeBron the next NBA logo, to be honest.
Championships in a short amount of time and accolades in a short amount of time. You can have a nice, quick, spurt of moment, but like, I truly appreciate somebody who's been in that shit for a long time.
I got to tell you something, so this is sacrilegious. I grew up in the 90s. Michael Jordan broke the Knicks' heart, broke the Pacers' heart when my man Mark Jackson was there. He created this basketball culture. Jordan shoes, $6-7 billion business a year. But if we're going to stick to the conversation that we talk about accolades and body of work, LeBron's body of work is second to none. It is second to none.
It is. It is. It is. This is his consistency is showing up, and that got to mean something.
He's the all-time leading scorer.
He showed up, and that's what I appreciate about Bron, and that I overlooked and underestimated when it comes to him. His enthusiasm and love for the game of basketball. And it's that simple. It's not more, nothing more than that. I know LeBron and his brand is just so much built on top, but the foundation is that. And I think everything he does is a foundation from, I just enjoy showing up and I enjoy being who I am in this space every day. And that's something I can appreciate and learn from. Because it's literally that simple for a lot of people that's been in it for a long time. I was watching a random ass Vinny Testaverde doc.
That's
and
random.
You know, when I watch somebody, I just go in deep.
What? A Vinny Testaverde? The New York Jets quarterback?
For like at least a day or two of like pause.
Sorry, shout out Cam and Mason.
Pause that. I just
Wait, what'd he say? What'd he say?
But like who somebody is. Like I think Vinny played maybe 20 up, and I enjoy being who I am in this space every day. And that's something I can appreciate and learn from. Because it's literally that simple for a lot of people that's been in it for a long time. I was watching a random ass Vinny Testaverde doc.
That's
and
random.
You know, when I watch somebody, I just go in deep for like at least a day or two of like pause.
Sorry, shout out Cam and Mason.
Pause that. I go in deep dive of like who somebody is. Like I think Vinny played maybe 20 something years.
Well, that's crazy.
Like,
And he had an Achilles injury.
And he had an Achilles injury. I think he played over 20 years.
Yeah. Bro, what the fuck was he doing watching a Vinny Testaverde documentary? Where do you even find a documentary on Vinny Testaverde? What the hell?
Man,
He played a long ass time.
Vinny, right?
Yeah.
He played a long time.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of other quarterbacks and football players that played 16, 17, 18 years. And it's just like you truly don't get it until you hit like 15, 16 years in the league, how hard it is to wake up every day knowing what you know and still come to work and still having to mesh with other people who are just experiencing this for the first time or don't know as much as you know, and you still get up and want to work as hard as you can and be the best teammate and work that's greatness to me.
And every day have to be LeBron James. Every day, whoever you run into and whatever fan sees you, it's the greatest day of their life. You have to show up. You grew up in an era where your voice was asked to be spoken and you showed up and you spoke.
Yeah.
You built a blueprint for a business. You went through shit. And to do it for that long, I think it's been more mind-blowing for me this year to watch it than ever before.
And it goes back to that GOAT thing, right? Like, How many people can relate to LeBron James on Earth? And sit and have a conversation about what he's going through on a day-to-day.
There's about a handful, but I mean, a handful out of like 7.2 billion people is not that many.
Who can have those conversations that truly know what he's going through as LeBron James? How many people?
So few. I'm like one hand. One hand.
But who else?
All right, let me give you somebody.
Okay, let me think. Tom Brady, Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo. I'm putting Patrick Mahomes in that same conversation. Diana Taurasi for sure. She literally like ran the WNBA for years. She's definitely top 3 GOATs in WNBA. Let me think who else. Usain Bolt. Who else, y'all? Who else? Baseball. Fucking, let me think. As far as baseball, probably like longevity and dominance, like just dominating the league, probably Derek Jeter. Probably just though, bro, you can honestly name a handful of guys, but yeah, it's still not that many though.
Michael Jordan for sure. We don't even have to talk.
Okay, yeah, obviously you're talking about the same exact sport, then yeah, Michael Jordan. But if you're talking about outside of basketball, there's a handful.
Bro, yeah, Michael Jordan for sure.
Tom Brady.
Kobe Bryant.
Serena Williams.
Oh, I forgot about that one. Serena Williams is a good
I think
one.
in a very weird way. I mean, let me not shake up the direction of the combo, but someone like Drake.
Easily. Tiger Woods.
That's a good one. Drake, Kanye. Come on now.
Want to become an amazing content creator? You should use motion arrays, templates, motion graphics, presets.
Drake, though, is probably the best comparison to LeBron as far as, like, the longevity and stuff, because Drake has consistently been in everyone's, like, good side, whereas Kanye is kind of, he's been on the good side, the bad side of people's spectrum.
I mean, Tiger Woods has a different, separate combo for himself because, like, he was good, but life comes into play. You can't account for life, and that's why when you think about LeBron and what he's been able to persevere through and avoid, and it comes with it. All that is part of it. All that's part of it. And that's the part that, like, back to, like, that's the asterisk. That's the asterisk. The same asterisk combo. Same asterisk combo. Because let's say this. Had you gone to the Knicks after the Bay, right? And you never won a championship. Ever. But you went to the conference finals, maybe went to the finals, went to the second round of playoffs. I actually think you'd be in that combo quicker than because of what you did. And you know what's funny? And do me a favor. Will you tell the camera and whatever Knicks fans will watch this that I wanted you to go to the Knicks, bro? Please.
You definitely did. You definitely did. More than anything.
Like, you've left me so... I'm on an island in New York right now. Like, I really, like... Because then all of a sudden I was all in Brooklyn. Like, I left 40...
I know that was so hard.
2 years...
It was so hard to do.
...of an obsession.
And that's why I love you so much, because I knew... And that's probably the toughest thing about anything.
That was tough. That was tough for us.
It was.
That was tough for us because... You thought I had blinders on. You thought I had, like, whatever, like rose-colored
like
glasses.
Nick blinders.
Yeah. But at the same time, I thought that, like, I was just like, dog, just come to the garden.
You were, if anybody was like my dad, you love the Knicks.
Oh, yeah, your dad was with me, heavy.
My aunt loved the Knicks. Yeah. Everybody, I mean,
you're always going to do what you want and what you think is best for your profession and your game, and I respected that. And remember, at multiple times in your career, I've had people that can relate to me from different fields. Like, one of my biggest inspirations, Jimmy Iovine, that always reminded me, like, put the blinders on and come in with the guy that introduce you to this world. And that's when all of a sudden I turned my attention to like, yo, I'm a Brooklyn Net. And all of a sudden I was like,
You was in it. You was in it with us every day. You cared about it just as much as you care about the Knicks.
I fell in love with that franchise. And now I just go to St. John's games because that's like,
Yeah, you're
I'm
a
not
New
going
Yorker,
anywhere.
bro. You're a New Yorker through and through.
I'm a New Yorker through and through.
And it's hard for you to switch a little
Bro, this guy looks like John Statham so much, bro. I can't.
alliances like that, and then you just never gonna leave New York City.
Do me a favor, clear up something you said for me 5 years ago.
This guy also really does look like he is like a full-on like New York. This guy's definitely from New York.
Admit the Knicks are cool. Come on, bro.
At that time, they weren't. I mean, the Knicks weren't cool, but they are a cool brand. Like when the Knicks are like on, like right now, when they popping right now, they're playing
popping.
well. Last few years, they were playing well. But before that, they wasn't playing well.
But you knew the brand was cool.
The brand was cool, but at the time, I'm not looking at the cool brand outside of the game. I was looking at the team, and the team was not cool to play for. The team was not cool to watch. It wasn't a good team to watch. I might have embellished a little bit or lied a little bit about like the brand. I might have like threw the brand.
There we
in
go.
there,
You know
too.
it's cool, bro.
But yeah, of course the Knicks brand. Like the New York. Living in New York made me truly realize how it's the greatest city in the world.
It really is, brother.
It really is. And there's nothing, I don't think there's no other city that can compete. I mean, not compete. That's going to top it. There's cities that can compete, sorry. But to top New York, it just be like, no.
And that's just a testament to you how, like, no matter how you feel, because you were happy there, you go what's best for you in the game and your relationship with the game, it feels like.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. That's anywhere I go. And I might not be happy some days, but I'm happy going through those times of being a little off.
Do you think your work ethic is more responsible than your God-given skill?
Most definitely. Because I mean, I know 6'10" dudes around who can't move a lick, can't shoot, who can't do anything on a basketball court, who haven't even made the league, who's 6'9", 6'10", walking around Earth. That aspired to be basketball players, but just couldn't.
That is so fucking facts. Thank you, Kevin Durant, for being the first professional athlete, honestly, to open up about shit like this. When you just out and about and you casually see some other nigga that's like 6'10", bro, for no reason, just out, just doing whatever. Like, bro, if you don't get your ass out there on a court or on a football field, like, come on, bro. What is we doing? Let's not waste our God-given size, please.
I actually had to work on it, then show it, and prove it in order for me to be this. It wasn't just off of potential. Well, man, you 6'9" and you can shoot, man. You're going to be good, man. Let's just work with you. No, I had to prove it. I had to work on it and show you and prove it by my consistency every day. So, yeah, it's about showing up, working hard, on top of you having the measurables and the God-given physical gifts. But if you don't actually consistently work on it every day, fine-tune it every day, you'll never get to being a great. You can squeeze by and be solid and, stay around because of your size and your measurables, but it's just another layer I think I'm always trying to break through. Even if I don't know what the next layer is, I'm always trying to figure out, all right, how can I evolve from this and get better from this? And I think that's the difference.
This summer's going to be crazy. God willing, everything goes according to plan, and you're in Paris going for what will be your 4th Olympic gold medal. You're already the all-time leading scorer in Olympic men's basketball history. And little known fact to our audience, you sit on the board of USA Basketball. How excited are you? What are your expectations? And are you ready to go there and, like, you're not going there as like an older guy in the league. You're trying to bust ass.
No, I'm trying to play. I'm trying to play real minutes. I'm trying to be responsible and have a real role. I know that's going to come from the work I put in practice and all of that stuff. But I'm ready for that. And I'm excited about being around that USA bond, that brotherhood again, man. It's like, it's unmatched. When you got all-stars, in the NBA, playing on one team for not just a weekend, but for a whole summer. The funnest part of the year is the summertime, and you're traveling around the world, basically on tour with some of the best ever.
So who do you? The 1v1s are famous. So let's talk some shit. Who do you want to smoke with this summer so you can let it be known that you're still the guy?
I don't want to let it be known that. I just want to see where I am against.
All right, so you ready to go? Whoever's coming this summer, you're ready to go back at it.
Oh yeah, ones in practice, after practice is the best. It's only gonna get you better. So like obviously Bron gonna want to play. Kawhi, if he there. Kyrie, if he there. Steph.
PG.
The young dudes like Ant Edwards, OMC Book once.
Tatum
once. Like
Joel.
I don't know about Joel once.
What?
He's slow. I don't know if I can go ones with him. He's just slow too. He might just hit
Bro, yeah, Joel might just bulldoze your ass in the paint, bro. I don't know about that.
me with the shoulder. But just
He might just shoulder check your ass for
being
real.
around these dudes and seeing how they work every day, seeing what their routine is before a game, what they drinking and eating, how they stretching, all. I'll be looking at all of that little stuff because I'm just like so interested to see how you work and what makes you you, because this is all greats gonna be here. So I'm excited about that. But to the accolade piece, having four.
He like a real KD, like a real ass like student of the game, bro. When you talk about somebody who sits there and studies the craft, bro, KD is one of those.
I think I'll be the only one.
Yeah. Should you have made it in 08?
Here's how I made myself control my world using Adobe Premiere Pro. First thing I did was film 2 plates, one of myself doing the actions and one of the man acting as if he was reacting to that. I added stock footage of rain on top and set that to screen mode.
If the climate of the league is how it is now, when younger players, are, like the young movement is starting to take over and people understand what younger players are, then for sure.
You should have made it.
But that was me. I had to pay my dues. They wasn't just going to let me on the team because I'm young and I'm KD and they see the future in me. I had to really, truly work to show that I belong. And I appreciate that. But I feel like now I would have probably just been on the end of the bench, 15 man, just taking an experience, which I probably wouldn't have enjoyed. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I wanted to play. Maybe I want to waste my summer just sitting on the bench traveling to China and not being a part of. Because, like, I don't care, man. I'm sorry. If I play on a team and we win some shit and I don't do anything, I'm like the 15th man, never play. It's like I don't truly feel a part of it.
Yeah.
There was some veteran guys on that group that just like I wouldn't have played over. And, you know, so if I'm on a team and I'm not contributing anything and we win something, I just don't feel, I'm sorry. Like, I'm going to cheer and be excited for y'all, but I just don't feel fulfilled. I don't get that fulfillment like y'all do because I wasn't in the action.
I get it.
You know what I'm saying?
I get it. It's like my Warrior rings.
Yeah. It's
different.
But like, you know what I'm saying? Where
Yeah.
you doing everything that the other players who played, who sweated and blood, sweat, and tears into the game, you didn't even get to put that much work in with them. So it's hard to feel a part of something. So I figured it'd have been like that with Team USA. So I'm glad it went that way. But if it's in today's climate, I'm sure they'd have been.
You're
like,
making it, yeah. Well, you'll get your fourth.
just so they can be like, all right, this guy gonna be on the 2010 World Championship team.
Yeah. Get him in the system.
Just give him a system, yeah. But it worked out perfectly.
We'll see what happens
man.
this
Let's
summer.
go get 4. And it's about, when we go out there, I just want to really make a statement about how dominant our
Yeah,
players
it's
are.
time to go back there and dominate, right?
Like 40, 50-point win. I want to do that.
Before we wrap this incredible cover story video up, bro, and man, this was fun.
This was so much fun.
This was so much fun, and I know you very well, and we talk every day. But I think this is good for people to understand too, because this partnership and this relationship, we've gone through some crazy ass shit over the last 10, 11, 12 years, and I've been blessed to, you know, to be a part of your career and for us to build something special. And you know, this brand, and you know how much this brand means to me, and you know gave me once again the support to go build this thing. And you know, and what you're building back home, like watching what you're building with your family and seeing how great your impact is, right? And what we're doing, it feels still like we just starting. I get to share it with, my family. I get to share it with my wife and kids. It's an incredible thing. Do you have a place in your mind yet to think about that, or is part of the focus, part of that, let me make decisions based on this, mean that you might not be able to integrate family to that regard till after you retire?
I feel like as I get older, I can compartmentalize, I guess, mentally my priorities a little bit better. 2-3 years ago, probably not. But now, I feel like I have control over what I need to do in order to be a great basketball player every day and also be present in my outside life. So yeah, I think it's in the cards soon. Or, I mean, not when not holding it off till I retire. It may happen when I retire, but I'm not going to make that declaration right now.
You haven't separated it in any way. If it happens, it happens.
It happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But from being around so long, I feel like I could take the brunt of anything that comes into this life. And I can understand it and make it work.
Man, if you have a son and he wants to hoop, he's in for it with the work ethic. You're going to be like,
gosh.
bro, what do you mean you're sleeping?
Oh my God. I just like, my nephew's 5, and he just started shooting around like a year ago. And I don't think he understands.
Oh, Deuce is going to be a problem.
'Cause my brother is a coach.
Shout out Tony Durant, just won the championship on the AU circuit, Under Armour circuit.
Under Armour 16 and under. Amazing coach that's only
But
gonna
shout
get
out
better.
Nike and Team Durant as well.
Yeah, man, he gonna come over to Team Durant, but with him being a coach and me being who I am as a player, and just
Deuce gonna be a problem.
and then we just got coaches and players all around. My brother's friends are known
Agents.
because they agents. All my friends that hooped or been around the game, so the youngest that's gonna be born around this time, it's just gonna be filled with so much knowledge of the game. It's gonna be fun.
All right, well, that's a wrap. 35 years old, number 35.
That was a W podcast. Honestly, I didn't expect to sit down and really be locked in the whole time. But honestly, that shit had me locked in the whole time. W podcast.